Buy my book, The Colorful Conscience, now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com for $13 and on Lulu.com for $9.75. Click the buttons on the video or the links in the description below. And now I guess it's a good time to talk about the storyline, since I've belabored the shit out of that. So the storyline has 2 chapters in it. I don't remember what the name of the first chapter is. Second chapter is called Race, I believe. And man, is it good. I mean, this storyline is fan-fucking-tastic. The first chapter is basically them trying to get Skullface, who is the main villain of the game, and, you know, developing Mother Base to the point where they can take Skullface on head-on and destroy the Metal Gear of the game, which is called Sahelanthropus, which basically means that it can walk on 2 legs. It's related to an old ancestor of human beings. And the storyline's just as confusing as any Metal Gear storyline, but if you really pay attention, like I do, you can get a lot out of it, especially the later missions. But the game begins off with a huge bang, literally, and it is the most explosive introduction of any Metal Gear game that I've ever played. By far the most explosive introduction. And it's just so like incredibly fast-paced at the beginning, and then it slows down a little bit afterward. But in the first chapter, you go through the missions, and the emotional content isn't quite there, but the second chapter more than makes up for that. So the first chapter, I would say, is more of the action chapter, and there's this one part where the storyline and the gameplay intermesh in a way that's super amazing, and it's when let's just say there's this outbreak, and you have to contain the outbreak. And so you have to go through your own like files and everything, and find out what the symptoms of the outbreak yourself. And if you don't contain it well enough, you begin to lose resources and soldiers and stuff. And it's so amazing because it's directly related to the storyline, and it's really cool when games manage to intermesh the story and the gameplay together like that so seamlessly. So that's chapter 1, is basically a lot of the action and stuff, a lot of the exposition, not even exposition, but a lot of the main goal-oriented missions. And then chapter 2 is a little more free-floating, because there's not as many main missions, but there are a lot of just, oh yeah, we have to do this eventually, and stuff like that. And so it couldn't be a bit disjointed, a bit jarring even, when you're just kind of going about things, and then it's cutscene after cutscene, and then all of a sudden no cutscenes for like ever, and then finally a mission to go on. It's a little weird that way. I was annoyed by it at first, but I grew to like it because it gave me a chance to do a lot of the side missions and do a lot of the extra stuff. And then all of a sudden, after I finished a mission, I would get a call and say, "Boss, come back to Mother Base. We need your help." And I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, all right." And then there would be some major, like, important mission. So I like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I like that. I think it was annoying at first, but I do appreciate having the downtime in between things. And boy, chapter 2 is when the emotions really start gripping you. Like, chapter 2 was when I had my heartstrings tugged at, to use a totally hokey and lame turn of phrase. It was just so, all the characters basically had their conclusions in chapter 2, and then you finally get the truth mission, which explains like how Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain tie in with every other game. And wow, the reveal that you get, and the way that everything connects, and the just the way that everything concludes is just phenomenal, and I love the conspiracy theory aspect. I think that's why Metal Gear Solid 2 was my favorite Metal Gear game, because the conspiracy theory there just seemed so big when they first introduced the Patriots, and they were like, yeah, they created this whole simulation, and you were supposed to be their second super soldier, and blah, 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 and then you hear about all this stuff, and it's like, whoa, this is a huge conspiracy, and it's just like, you trying to figure out exactly how everything fits together. Now, every other Metal Gear game was doing well in piecing everything together, but I think no game did it better than Metal Gear Solid 2, except for the Phantom Pain. The Phantom Pain, the way it did it, and I think what Kojima said in his farewell video, that he only could have done it because he'd been working on this game for so long. I think that's totally true. Like, the only way you can have something, like, the only way you can piece something together so well is if you've laid out all the parts in the beginning, and then you can start weaving them together. And I think it really came around, it really went through well, and you just have to see it for yourself, man. But that said, there is supposed to be, after the Truth mission, which is episode 48, there is supposed to be a final mission, which is mission 51.